day where we can get together, we can talk, we can share about experiencing greater love. New Hampshire, that's what's happening. Thanks for joining from New Hampshire. So, greater love. What are we doing with this thing called greater love? How do we get there? Right? Love, we've been talking about it all month. Love takes you from a lower place to a higher place. Love takes you from a lesser place to a greater place. But how are we going to get there? How are we going to sustain getting from this lower place to this greater place? Oftentimes we think about the stories in life, the stories in our relationships, and how things can seemingly die down. The relationship can die down, and things can get old, things can get stale. You get tired of something, it's not what it used to be. Lots of things can happen in relationships because relationships are natural, they're organic. I like to look at them as being living. Relationships are alive. Whenever we are in communication and connection with someone else, we have an opportunity to create something we call a relationship. How one person stands in reference to another person, how we stand in reference to someone else. It's all about perspective and positioning. Relationships, they can live, they can die. So how do we get these things called relationships to go from greater to greater? How do we change and go from one level of greatness to another level? We've talked about how all month long how greatness is always going to be a matter of service. So we know that we have something to give, something to discover, dis meaning not, cover meaning conceal, something to discover, and something to deliver. So we're serving in our relationships. And then we have something to nurture, something to develop. I was thinking about this story. You may have heard it. There was a gentleman, and he was being faced with this situation where his life was on the line, right? He's on the line. He knows that he's getting ready to die to help out a lot of people. It's his mission, it's his job, it's his assignment in life. He's getting ready to die. And while he's there and he's contemplating this moment of death, what's getting ready to happen, because he's about to sacrifice his life for his friends, those that he loves, those that don't even love him, but he's getting ready to make this sacrifice. And while he's there and he's contemplating this situation, he says something. He says, first, he wants to get out of it. He's thinking, this is agonizing. I want to get out of this situation. I would rather not do this. Is there a different way? So while he's yet in an assignment, he knows he's there. He knows he has purpose. There's a tremendous amount of love. All that's fine, well, and good. He knows. And yet he says, if there's any way that I could get out of this situation, can we explore that? He's looking for a way out. And sometimes in our relationships, that happens. Sometimes the agony of the moment of the situation can be too great. We're looking for a way out. And so he's there, he's agonizing. And while agonizing, while asking to get out of the situation, he says this. He says, all right, nevertheless, not what I want to get done. So that one statement is a game changer. Nevertheless, all one word, nevertheless. Nevertheless, I'll just do this. You might have heard somebody say it. You might have used it before yourself. Nevertheless, I'll do this. Nevertheless, I'll do that. Nevertheless. But I was thinking about, how do we go from greater love to greater love to greater love to greater love? That one statement sums it up, because that one statement, when we are faced with a situation, when we want to get out of a situation where it seems to be too much, where what we're going to have to do is going to require a lot out of us, where we want to give up because just seems like I'm paying a big price here. Nevertheless, when we choose never the less, it means we're always going to be moving towards greater. One simple statement, nevertheless. Right? You could be looking at going back to school, realizing that it's so hard. I didn't know that I was going to have to go through all this. I didn't know it was going to be so challenging. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give up. Nevertheless, because if I give up and I quit right now simply because it's hard, I'm choosing the less. So nevertheless, this marriage, we're just not seeing eye to eye. The spark is not gone. I mean, the spark is gone. We're not communing with one another. We're not putting in effort. We're not putting in time. Oh, maybe I should give up. Or maybe, nevertheless. Maybe it's not that the marriage is so broken. Maybe it's that you haven't been putting forth the effort. Maybe you haven't been blocking out enough of the noise. Maybe you haven't been all in. Remember, we talked about this last week. You either got to be all in or all out. If you stand between two decisions, you're only going to be confused. If you turn on hot water and you turn on cold water, you're only going to get warm water. That's not enough. It's not enough. You already have enough things that are against you. So if you're going to go at it lukewarm, if you're going to go at it nice and easy, not really full on aggression, probably not going to work. And that goes with anything. Think about the one dream that you have right now in your life, that one thought that's in your mind right now. Think about it. There is enough opposition to your dream already. Why? Because dreams are in conflict to our current situations. Whenever we dream something, we're dreaming it because we don't actually already have it. So we're thinking about something in a futuristic way, which means I have to leave where I'm at. I have to leave what I'm used to. I have to leave what's been comfortable here in order to get there. So that means there's going to be change. And the one thing that we as people don't like, for the most part, is change. Your dreams create conflict. And so when you dreamed it up and you dreamed up this conflict, it seemed fantastic because you were thinking about the outcome. You weren't really probably considering the conflict. You weren't considering the pain. You weren't considering the sacrifice. You weren't considering the sleepless nights. You weren't considering the baby being sick. You weren't considering that person getting on your nerves or waking up every morning and seeing the same face. And sometimes it's not, you're not on the same page. Perhaps we weren't considering all that. Doesn't mean that some relationships aren't toxic, because some of them are. Some of them we need to get out of because they are harmful. Some of them will kill you, figuratively and literally. Some stuff you need to get out of. And sometimes when you say nevertheless, it means you need to leave that relationship because that relationship is the less. See, sometimes we sit there and we play with it thinking, well, if I keep on just, putting lipstick on this pig, it can end up looking like something. No, that's not true. No. Don't sit there and lie to yourself and think, oh, okay, I can make something that isn't something into something. No, don't lie to yourself. Right? Sometimes you have to look at the situation and you say, you know what? This isn't where I'm supposed to be. This job is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm sitting here every day. I'm collecting a paycheck, and yeah, it's comfortable and everything like that. But as soon as you say but, now you start to know, but I have a dream. I have a hope. I want to start my business. I want to do something different. I want to live in a RV and travel across the country. I want to do something different. But it's so scary moving out into my dreams. It's so scary moving out into the unknown. See, that's the less talk. That's the talk that says, I'm afraid. See, when you start, here's how you know, because you might be wondering, like, how do I know if I'm speaking about the less? Well, when you start operating in fear, guess what you're not operating in? You're no longer operating in love, because love opposes fear. Love drives out fear. And so if you start operating in fear, I'm not saying that fear won't be there. There will be some fear that rises up. And then love says, no, we're going to deal with this and we're going to do something about this. And we're going to take action. Love moves you into action. Love says, yes, you can grow. Yes, you can achieve. Yes, you can flourish. Yes, you can develop. Yes, you can produce. Love is going to move you into your greatest self. And so when you're sitting there and you're afraid of moving forward because you think, oh, I don't know what might happen. So I'm afraid. What if it doesn't work? I'm afraid. And I'm thinking about what won't be instead of what can be. Now you're operating in the less. And so here's the one phrase, the one statement that can move you from greater to greater, from glory to glory, from one level to the next level. Simple phrase, nevertheless. Nevertheless. And you just keep reminding yourself that you are worthy and your life is purpose for more. So you say, nevertheless. I'm not going to just pick the less because less is an option. This marriage, it can be something. So I'm not going to choose the lesser route. No, 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 no. Nevertheless, I'm going. Nevertheless, I'm going to go get myself a book. Nevertheless, I'm going to study. Nevertheless, I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone and do something different. Nevertheless, I'm going to start my business. Nevertheless, I'm going to hire a coach. Nevertheless. Why? Because you want to move into something greater. You believe that there's something greater? If you believe it for your life, start telling yourself, nevertheless. Tell yourself that you're not choosing the lesser. Tell yourself, I want what's greater. Greater health, greater finances, greater relationships, greater experiences. Think about it. I don't know. I've never done it, but you can get to the edge. And if you ever, I've watched those people that do cliff jumping and they stand at the edge and then they dive off and they're flipping and everything like that. And some of them dive straight in, some of them go in with their feet, but they jump off of a cliff into the water. Or, I want this summer, hopefully I'll get to go jump out of an airplane. You stand at the edge because I want a greater experience. I have to stand at the edge of a plane that's working, and I'm going to jump out. Why? Because I want a greater experience. I want to know what that feels like to jump out of an airplane and fall to the earth with a parachute open. Please. I do want the parachute. I don't want it to stay closed. I want the parachute to open. Right? When I had my motorcycle, when I was riding motorcycles, there was that day. I'm out in the back stretch, out in the country, and I was riding along. Things were going fine. And it was open. It was just open. It was straight and it was open and I could see everything in front of me. And I said, I want to see how fast I can go. And I started to hit that throttle and that bike started going up 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, got to 130. I said, you know what? That's enough of an experience for me. Let me back off the throttle. But I touched that 130 and it was cool. It was a nevertheless moment for me, where everything was happening fast, where I was moving at a faster speed. My mind was having to calculate at a faster rate. See, this is what happens when you get into your nevertheless mode. Things are going to accelerate for your life. You're going to start seeing things faster. You're going to start moving faster. You're going to start observing things. It kicks you into another gear because your mind is now trying to figure out what is happening at this level because I'm not used to this level. So now I have to operate differently. I'm picking up on stuff. I'm like, your spidey senses are going to kick in when you get into nevertheless mode. There's something greater for you. But guess what? You got to go get it. And I'm encouraging you to love yourself enough to get into the right environment, around the right people, having the right kind of conversations where you stop choosing the lesser things of life. Like there's a greater experience that you can have in love, in life, in your leadership. I dare you. I dare you in love to go get it. I dare you in love to step out of your comfort zone and say, I want something greater. I'm moving into something greater. Like starting tomorrow, March 1st, my birthday month starts. And so always for me, birthday month is a time of thinking and considering and celebrating the work that has been done. right? What have I done? I evaluate and I'm looking at my life and what have I done? What's my next step? Where am I moving to? What do I want to accomplish in the next year? Because by the time my next birthday rolls around, Lord willing, I'm not going to be in the same place. I won't have the same experiences. I need to add something to it. I'm not just alive just to be alive. We're not just here just to be here. From year to year, we want to see some change in our life. So I like to strategize it. And I think birthdays are a perfect time to look. So birthday month, I like to celebrate all month, right? My birthday's in the middle of the month. So that means I always tell people my birthday's on March 15th. Don't worry, I'll remind you. But so since it's on March 15th, I say, hey, starting March 1st, we build up. On the 15th, we have the crescendo, and then you got to take it on down. You got to wind it down for the rest of the month. So I figured, why not celebrate the whole birthday, whole month? But the point is, it's time to start thinking about what's next. What's that greater step? Like, okay, in this year, what did I get done? All right, I did the podcast. Got a book done. I got some things done, launched some consulting, and I've done some things, right? Okay, and how do we go? How do we take it to the next level? Same thing for you. What's your next level? Because it's time to nevertheless it. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you wrapping up February with me, talking love. It's time to go to greater. Let love take you to a greater place. That's my challenge. That's my encouragement to you. Get it in your mind that you are a nevertheless person, that you don't have to settle anymore. Will it be scary? Sure. But that's what love is for. Love is for dealing with fear. Love is for facing fear and helping you to grow anyway. So love and nevertheless, they go hand in hand. So go ahead and just get it. Like write it down on a sticky note, put it on your phone, make it a screensaver, whatever you need to do. Just get that in your mind. Nevertheless, I want something greater. All right, let's pray and shut it down for the night. Just kicking off the week nice and strong, getting our minds right so that we can get some things done, right? We can go to the next level in our relationships, in our lives, in our experiences. Let's get it. So hand in hand, what goes hand in hand? Nevertheless, and love. Because love is going to tell you there's something more. You got something greater. There's something greater in you. Don't just remain a seed. Go ahead and flourish. Become everything that you are meant to be. So, Father, thank you for this day that you've made, giving us a chance to live, breathe, move, have our existence and our being. Thank you. Thank you for the breath that is within our lungs, and thank you for the opportunity that we have had tonight to be together. Thank you for each person that is here, the moments of time that we have shared together. I pray for them in a special way that they would adopt a nevertheless mindset, that they would look at their life, that they would look at their experiences, that they would look at the opportunities set before them, and they would choose something greater, even with the obstacles, even with the challenges, even with the setbacks. I pray that they would choose to live more abundantly, that they would say, nevertheless, not even for a little bit, I choose more. Nevertheless. I pray that you would let that word, that thought ring within their minds. Nevertheless. Help them to choose the greater. Give them eyes to see the greater. Give them a heart to embrace the greater. Give them energy to move towards the greater. And I pray that as they move towards the greater things in life, that calling, that special place of achievement, that special place of movement, I pray that their life would expand. I pray that they would run headfirst into blessings that overtake them and surround them and cover them, that they would walk in blessings, not only for themselves, that they would be blessings to others as well. So I pray for these neverthelessers, that they would have greater experiences in life and love that they can enjoy and that they can bless others with as well. I pray that you give them a tremendous rest of this evening or morning or whatever time it is, wherever they are. I pray for those that are watching on replay, that they would be blessed as well, and that they would adopt this message and run with it to see their life fully manifest all the fruit that's available. Thank you for each one. I pray blessings upon them as we go our separate ways. And we thank you in advance, counting it as done. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Tomorrow, March 1st, we kick off a new month, moving forward, developing, growing. So I look forward to this week. Thanks for making this month of love a great month. Thanks for moving forward, taking action, doing things. The best is yet to be seen from your life. Have a fantastic evening. My name is B.A. Shepherd, 2Ps, ARD, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Love you much. Good night. See ya.